toys in the background. Oh, I forgot you can hear me drink stuff. Yay! Hi! I know. I filled this up like 4 times. I got it at Ross. I think the label is crooked. So that's why it was at Ross. So, yeah, giant. This is impromptu, by the way. I just felt like, I don't know, doing something random. So, ask away questions of people. I saw Nova was on. There's like top fans. I've got 2 right now. So yeah, I'm just chilling. Right now, kids are gone. Obviously, they're not attached at my leg. So I thought, I don't really have a topic. Am I frozen? I'm frozen. Of all the times to freeze. Oh, you know what? Let's try that. There we go. Carly! Oh no, I'm still frozen. Am I still frozen? Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, I've got to catch up to myself. Oh, catch up. Catch up, get it. I saw the goats, Carly, or the goat. I mean, I didn't see the goat. I heard about the goat. Not frozen. Yeah, I heard about the goat. I was watching like the replay of the Steins family farm people. That was really sad. Something, he got like bloated or something, the baby did, and died. It's just sad. Okay, so we're not frozen. Okay, so it says I'm here. You see my hand, sorry. Okay, it says I'm okay now. Yeah. I think we're good. Okay. I should know. I thought I got better internet, but I think it's like a badge if you don't have internet issues. I need that on a mug. I didn't realize how annoying it is until you're on this end, and now I know why it's so annoying. Yeah, that's really sad about the goat. But why? I didn't go back far enough. But he was talking about the different types of bloat for goats. And I thought I saw someone saying like someone made a mistake or he made a mistake. Did he think it was the wrong bloat or something and he gave the wrong medicine? I was going to go back later today after I went live. But yeah. What did someone mess up? I saw that the baby died from bloating and then I had to leave. But yeah, it was really sad. And I was going to dive deeper into it. Oh, see, it goes down for me too. Maybe I should do this in a different part of the house. That might help. I'm on Streamlabs because if you can see me. Oh yeah, I think you can. Because I need, let's see, I need one more subscriber before I can use YouTube Studio to go live. So I have 49 subscribers and you need 50 to go live on your phone. So I have to do it through Streamlabs to go live. You got an alt. Thanks, Carly. So that'll be next time. But I think that's part of the problem is because I have to use Streamlabs to use my phone. And I don't have my laptop set up. This is just impromptu. So I just stuck like my phone up there and then thought I would sit down and talk. Just so whatever. But once I get 50, supposedly I can go live straight from YouTube from my phone, which will be cool. So anyway. Yeah, see, chilling with mustard. That's what we're doing. We're just chilling. Totally impromptu, nothing, whatever. I have my mustard stuff and my mustard mess over there for my son. That wasn't on purpose. It's just yellow. Muscle mama. Yeah. I like mustard. I don't know why. It's funny, and it's funny how it's become this mustard thing. It's really, I don't know. I like it. It's funny. I hope you can't hear my tummy. It is growling. I saw this video on Instagram. I should share it. Okay, I really need to turn this. I'm just going to take this out because it's confusing me. I keep thinking someone's talking, and it's me. Mustard is a good binder when cooked. Oh, that's good to know, Carly. But it's so potent. You kind of have to hide the taste, yeah? I always would joke with Nat to try to sneak mustard into some meals to someone that doesn't like mustard very much, both in their meals and in real life. They don't like me very much. So I always joked about ways to sneak it in there, but it's so potent. It'd be hard to hide it. Unless you did like honey mustard. Where's my jug of coffee? I don't know if y'all missed this. Me and Wilson were sharing coffee stories. Oh. You don't taste it as much on fried chicken or smoked meat. The other flavors cover it. Ooh, I could see smoky covering it. I need to buy a barbecue. We had to get rid of ours. Josh and I bought it when we first met. He needed a barbecue, so we got a barbecue together. And even though I didn't live there, told you I'm a stage 5 clinger. So it's 12 years old when we moved last year, and it didn't survive, so we had to toss it. So I don't have a barbecue, but I love to barbecue stuff, and that always tastes smoky. Otherwise, I try not to burn my kitchen. Josh could probably do a smoky flavor in the kitchen, though, without a barbecue. There was a video I watched this morning of, it was a video meme where it said, like, people with muscle walking into a Planet Fitness, their point of view. And it's like the horror movie screams, and it's all these people running. And there's these 2 guys in thongs. And what's funny is, like, I don't think people realize what's happening in this thing. And in this video, show you, I can JLR it. Watch, you're gonna freaking, I mean, I don't know if people realized what they were watching, because I had to do a second take, but there's these, like, and then they jump on each other. Not like that, but I was like, what the? They just, like, toss that in there like it's normal at a gym for 2 guys to be in thongs on top of each other. Okay, I have to go to, what is it? Your activity. Because I liked it. Because I'm telling you, at first you're watching it and you're like, oh, this is your point of view when you're at a gym. And then you realize, oh, I thought oh, you know what? I sent it to myself so I could remember. Okay, watch this because it's a reel. Okay. I need to turn off my Bluetooth. So hopefully you guys can see this. Oh, it's not going to do sound? Why? Okay. Can you see that? Okay, look at the guys right there. They jump on each other. Do you see that? JLR. What? There's the guy. It's like, what the? Where did they come from? Where in the world? What world is that? What world? Where in the world? Oh, look at, here's my voice. Repeat. What world is that? That's me. Stop it. I don't know. Isn't that weird? That was the weirdest video. I was going to share it, and then I thought that's a little weird. It's not my gym. Not anything, you know. I'm just saying it's, and you don't see guys in thongs in our gym. So, happy Monday. I was going to talk about some of those books, if you guys want to, but those are probably, well, what the top ones. Top one's just Chuck Norris, but I was going to talk about the bottom one in the flow sometime in the coming weeks, and then the Rain Barrel Effect, and then Modern Parents Vintage Values is another really good book, and then Chuck Norris is just amazing. But I was going to go through each of those books, like maybe one each week or something. Hold on, I need to turn on the fan. It's hot in here. Because they are super helpful and informative. So this one in the flow, I don't think you can see the right writing because it's backwards. But In the Flow is really a good book in getting your hormones back on track, learning about how they are supposed to ebb and flow in your cycle, what's normal and what's not, and then how to compound energy levels. So basically working with your cycle, not against it. And you can do it with food, with your schedule, with how you plan your life. There's certain phases, there's certain parts in your cycle that it's easier to, how can I put this? It's easier to go out and be social. And then there's going to be parts in your cycle where you're going to want to chop everyone's head off just because they're breathing. And maybe not to that extent necessarily, but it's a lot easier to go out and be around people versus when you want to be more, maybe you can't get your words out, right? There's going to be times in your cycle where it's going to be really easy to get projects done. And then there's times in your cycle where you're more creative. And a lot of that is just the hormonal balances in your body that also affect your brain, your energy levels, and your desires to do things. So it's really cool to read about because once you start to learn the different benefits, like the pros and cons of each phase of your cycle, the more you can work with it, which means you're compounding energy levels. So you're not going against the grain. You're not swimming uphill or upstream, uphill. You're not still swimming upstream trying to always regain energy that you maybe lost or like overexpended or maybe sleep or whatever. So like it's draining. Okay, let me put it this way. It's really draining to go and talk to people when that's the last thing you want to do, right? When you're not in that phase in your cycle. And like I said, you'll learn about that if you read it or if we talk about it. But then if you're also trying to complete projects that you're maybe in more of a creative state in your cycle, if you were to swap that around, you'll be going with your cycle. So it's going to be a lot easier to do things and get things done versus trying to do them in the wrong phase. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, I highly recommend it. You don't have to read it. We can read it together, but I do recommend keeping it. This is probably my third copy. I've given away 2 already, and I got another one because I refer back to it all the time. Am I frozen? I might be frozen. The Rain Barrel Effect is a good one. This was really insightful back in 2020 or 2021. Or I think it was actually right before that. I think it was right before COVID. Talking about what's in our water and why it's harmful and why it's beneficial to understand what's in our water and how to minimize the effects of that. Anyway, this is really insightful, but it's probably the second best book. And then if you're a parent, this one's really good, Modern Parent Vintage Values, because life is different from when we were kids and how we, obviously screen time is a big one because you can't say to kids anymore that you're not going to make a living playing video games. I remember trying to tell that to our stepson, and now you can, and a good living. So it's hard to tell kids. And then also like we're always on YouTube or like I'm on YouTube or whatever. So it's really hard to tell kids, especially around screen time, how to navigate that. This was really helpful for me, and how we do that with our kids. And then how I also use that to compound energy levels for this mama. So I like to group screen time around times that I need it to be more quiet. So like when Micah is sleeping. Obviously, there's grace for different periods, I would say. If you're a new mama and you have a little one, it's going to mean a little more screen time than normal probably in your life for a while, because you have to just kind of survive. So I think there's some grace that comes with certain seasons. But in general, I think what a general rule in houses should, be centered around what your goal is, for us, it used to be an hour a day. It's a little more now because it's hard to have 4 kids and have them all agree on one thing for 1 hour for one. So that it was creating a lot more fights. And then 2, my biggest thing was just that they were spending as much time outside as they were on an iPad or on a TV show. And then 3, what is it that they're watching? Is it educational? Is it crap? Is it, Storybots is really good. I like Storybots. But on the iPad, is it solitaire? Is it a mind game? Something that's going to help them later on. And then 2, how much time have they spent outside? So, but this was really helpful for me. You were spinning. Menopause, yeah, so this is helpful for menopause too. So you still have a cycle per se. It's just very different. Your hormones are very different than obviously when someone that's ovulating. But I would recommend reading that book. And then Chuck Norris, he's like one of my favorite all-time books of all time. Let's see, what's a good one? Chuck Norris is so fertile that when he bangs a chick in America, a chick in China gets pregnant. Let's see. Chuck Norris eats babies and shits Delta Force team members. That one's weird. I don't really control screen time, but we go outside for at least a few hours. Carly, though, your house, like that yard, all that greenery. Oh, how cool. Do you guys have a lot of poison ivy or snakes or spiders or like things like that you have to worry about out there? When we lived up on the hill, we had tons of rattlesnakes and black widows. We had scorpions. We had tarantulas. And there's no like invisible force that's going to stop them from coming here. And we're not that far. But there was like bobcats and craziness. So it was always hard for me to let them like kind of venture out where I couldn't see them. But I'm curious because I know like in Hawaii where my husband's uncle lives, there's no poisonous animals. So you can like send them out in the wilderness and it's totally fine. Do you guys, and I know that's not obviously on the mainland, but curious if you're worried about that ever. Here, I'm just worried about homeless people stabbing us in the face. Not kidding. That guy's still on the loose. I think there was cops out there and someone got arrested, but I don't know if it was ever confirmed if that was the guy. So that's a good idea, how you make sure outdoors and screen time are somewhat even. Yeah, because, like, you can't get away from it. TV is everywhere. And we all binge watch shows. And we all work on computers and phones all day long. Or we're listening to YouTube and chatting, right? So, like, we're on our phone. So I think it's really just making sure it's mixed, because they need that imagination and growth and learning how to navigate the waters of outside and other kids and people and stuff like that. I think the older you get, though, the more you want to be inside. No poisonous snakes or spiders. That's good. Yeah, see, we have rattlesnakes. And knowing my kids, they would go try to hug it. So I always have to stop them from that. We found out Kaylin is likely, we think Kaylin's allergic to bees. So she's been stung once before, and she had a small reaction, and then she got stung in her hand because she likes to pick them up. So she picked up this bee, and she was going to put it on a flower. And I'm upstairs with Micah in the bath, and she comes walking up, and her hand's like this, and she got stuck. So I pulled it out, but I guess it had been in there for a few minutes, and her whole hand the next day was swollen. I mean, it looked like she had a baseball mitt on her hand. And so we gave her some Benadryl, and I made sure it was cleaned out, and we put baking soda on it because that can help draw out like the venom. And the next day it was still swollen. I was starting to freak out. Because it looked like it was starting to come up here, and they say like if it goes past the joint to go get help. But it was hard to kind of tell if it was really going past the wrist. So, and she felt fine otherwise. She wasn't showing any she wasn't lethargic or anything. She didn't have a fever. She wasn't throwing up. She wasn't dizzy. But then all the kids are sick too. So all the kids have this cough, and she was the only one that wasn't sick. So I thought, well, maybe she's getting sick if she does feel that way. So it was so hard to tell. Anyway, so her whole hand's swollen. We put baking soda and warm water on it several times throughout the day. In fact, her grandma brought over this giant, make it grandma, because she's going to spoil the crap out of them even with baking soda. It's like this 10-pound bag of baking soda. I'll have to post it. I'll post it on my Instagram story when I go downstairs. But it's this giant bag of baking soda. She's going to go through this whole thing. I'm like, they come in tiny little containers because I didn't have any. I don't bake. Anyway, so my mom brought this giant Costco thing over. And so she's putting baking soda on her hand every day. And it finally went away, but I think she might actually be allergic. And so I looked up EpiPens. They're $750. What the French? Dude. Oh, your brother got stung on the lip. Yeah, we have wildcats too out here. It's ridiculous. In fact, that's how half of my chickens got eaten. We had a bobcat in our window right by the, I think I told you guys this when we were all in another chat one day, but half of my chickens got eaten. Lie. That's not half. All but one. Not that I was lying, but all but one got eaten. And so then that night, so that night, Josh was in the closet changing, and we had this was at the old house. We had this window that would butt up right against the chicken coop that was in the back of the house that was backed up to the mountains. So it was all open mountain range back there. And he's in there changing, and he hears something because we have the blinds closed. He hears something, and so he opens the blinds. And there's right where our window is about as high. I'm 5'7.5". It's about chest height. And it's that's the window. And because I built this chicken coop. It's a 2-story chicken coop. It was as tall as our house. Real, like, roof, everything. I'll have to post a picture of that. I've got really cute pictures of me and the girls building it. But in the walk-in entryway that I built, and I had this little ledge so that the chickens could come walk out on the ledge and come say hi to me from my closet in the morning. And I could feed them and, pet them. And the girls could, pull them through the closet and hang out with. Anyway, yeah. So he opens the blinds and there's a bobcat on this ledge opening the little flap door thing that I had, getting the chickens. And so he scares the bobcat away and he thinks, oh, that's it. He scared it away. No, the next morning is when I go in the closet and I open up the blinds, and I didn't know that the bobcat was out there the night before. So I open up the blinds and I look out and there's just feathers everywhere and just carnage everywhere. And yeah, so I went out there and I'm like freaking out and the kids are still asleep. And I go back inside to get trash bags because I'm not going to bury 12 chickens. And it's just a huge mess. And I hear this noise from another chicken. And so I run out there and there's one chicken that just is like almost completely defeathered and sliced open on the back. And I was able to get it back to life. And then it got eaten later in life. So it was really hard to keep chickens up there. It was really, really, really hard. Really hard. It wasn't the first time that summer he got stung on the lip. So now I'm curious how. That's funny. Is he trying to kiss bees? Is he a bee kisser? I run from bees. I am one of those people that it's the weirdest. I should be on a YouTube short where they're making fun of me because I freak out when I see a bee. And Kaylin used to laugh at Mom, why are you so afraid of bees? And now she runs just like I do. She does not want to get stung again whatsoever. Where's my coffee? I hope it's not noisy. But anyway, I run from bees. I run from wasps, from a little chicken when it comes to that. You want to read another Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris's real name is Switchblade Killingsworth. He changed it to Chuck Norris because it sounded tougher. That one's kind of dumb. You remember when these were really cool? It was like the cool thing to come up with a Chuck Norris joke. Chuck Norris's driver's license photo looks amazing. Is that because no one has a good photo? When Chuck Norris gives you the finger, he's telling you how many seconds you have left to live. That one was kind of funny. Chuck Norris flosses with barbed wire. If you know someone who doesn't like Chuck Norris, you won't know them for long. It's a fun fact. On the first day, God created the heavens and the earth, looked down, and then said, holy shit, is that Chuck Norris? Okay. The symbol for Chuck Norris in sign language is the middle finger on fire. Chuck Norris once roundhouse kicked Bruce Lee, breaking him in half. The result was Jet Li and Jackie Chan. Anyway, what are y'all saying? Predators are really hard to keep. Yes, it was totally awful. Predators are hard. And then we got bunnies. I thought it was a raccoon getting my bunnies, and then the bobcat thing happened. And then we realized that the bobcat was getting over our 6-foot fence and getting the bunnies. So I stopped getting the bunnies after the first bunny attack. They opened up my bunny cage because I would let the bunnies roam in the backyard. Carly, I don't know how you potty trained your bunnies, because I tried to keep them inside, but then they poop and pee everywhere, which was just I have enough to clean up. There's no way. And a litter box, I really didn't want to do. I had a cat. I don't like the litter box thing. Plus, I was not that the bunnies have the litter thing that the cats do, but getting pregnant was just a great reason to not have cats because you can't change the litter box. So once my mama moo cow died, that was it. I wasn't going to have any more cats. I was done. Didn't want a litter box. So, but I heard you could have these rabbits like litter box or toilet trained, which to me is just insane. But you said you got it to happen, which is really cool. But I couldn't do it. So, and I didn't want to keep them in their rabbit cage because it was so small to me, it seemed. And they needed to like be free. So, and it smelled disgusting too. Their pee is obnoxiously strong. So I let them outside and I put their cage outside. It had a lock, everything. And I do kind of regret putting them outside because they dug holes everywhere. I mean, every day I was getting dirt and filling holes. I mean, just tons. There was so much dirt that they could dig out in a day. It's insane. So, yeah, the bobcat, I'm assuming it was the bobcat. Again, it could have been the raccoon, but now after the bobcat got the chickens, I'm thinking it was because the bobcat got the rabbits first. I'm thinking it was the bobcat. So anyway, we lost our rabbits. The cage was opened. I found that outside. It's hard to have anything outside up there, I think, just in general. How do people do it in a farm? How does Stein's farm, that Stein's family farm has to have predators out there. And I don't see like a fortress. Yeah, rabbits loved, what's the name of that book? I need to get it for him. Oh, it's called The Truth About Chuck Norris, 400 Facts About the World's Greatest Human by Ian Spector. Yeah. I think my dad got me this book. A cobra once bit Chuck Norris's leg. After 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died. Chuck Norris can charge a cell phone by rubbing it against his beard. So that one's pretty funny. You gotta bury the chicken wires so no one. So the backyard that I had them in, it was like mostly concrete. It was, or masonry actually is probably a better description. But it was mostly masonry, and then it was just the edging that was like this for plants, and it used to have plants. And then they just attacked it. I thought it was going to be so cute with like bunnies out there just hopping around in the plants and like loving the backyard. No, it was a dirt fiasco. It was terrible. I loved them, but oh my gosh, it was horrific. It was a mess. I had no backyard. Same thing with the goats. Bad idea. Bad idea. They're so much better on a farm. They're on a friend's farm right now. They are so much more enjoying life than where I had them trying to in the backyard. That was terrible. It was concrete. Yeah, it was a bad idea. With wild cats, a lot of farms will keep big birds like ostrich. Oh. Okay, my husband would kill me if I brought home an ostrich. But that is kind of funny. I would maybe... So I do want a Highland cow one day and a horse. And I do want my goats again. I loved my goats, and I would love bunnies. They just need... They need the right space to have them outside, because you can't keep them in a pen. It's mean. They love to dig. They're meant to dig. They're bunnies. That's right. They're meant to. Emus would be funny. They're like the hairy mini camel, right? Looking thing, I think. Or is that the hairy ostrich? I think it's the hairy ostrich. I'll have to look up a picture. Let's look up a picture so we know what we're talking about. Because I'm not an emu. Yeah, it's like a hairy ostrich, right? Yeah. What was the thing I was thinking of that's like a hairy camel? It's a hairy ostrich, basically. Second tallest bird in the world after an ostrich. Known for their long legs and necks, their small, useless wings. They're known for their unique double-shafted feathers. They can stand up to 6 feet tall. Oh! And they're found in Australia. They're omnivores. So how do they protect? Let's find out. How do emus protect a farm? Since I don't have Carly here. They act as a deterrent to predators by defending their territory with powerful kicks and sharp claws. It's like a silent assassin. Their size, speed, and strong legs make them effective at deterring threats like foxes and coyotes. So I thought it was a coyote, and then, yeah, the bobcat, I guess, can jump over 6 feet. So it made sense how that could get over our gate and our fence. While generally calm and curious, emus will defend themselves and other livestock if they feel threatened. Dang. Who would have thought? I wonder if it's legal to have an emu in California. My poor Mr. Mustard. Is it legal to have an emu? Just finding out. As a pet. Yes. Shoot. It is generally legal to own emus as pets, but regulations vary by location. Emus are often considered livestock, especially if used for agricultural purposes. However, if kept as pets, they may be classified as exotic animals requiring a license or a permit. Okay, so California was in California. Yes, it is generally legal to have an emu as a pet in California. Ooh. And it's not on the list of prohibited exotic animals. Okay. How much space does an emu need? Screw a guard dog. I want an emu. Right? I mean, I love our puppies, but if you give them food, they'll be your best friend. If you scratch their belly, I'm screwed. So if I had some emus that were 6 feet tall, they need a minimum of 5,000 square feet. What? They require sturdy, at least 6 foot tall fencing. Got it. Breeders often use pens of 30 feet by 100 feet. I think that's bigger than I have. Darn. You can keep 20 to 50 birds per acre. I mean, to be honest, what if you just have one and they like to snuggle? Let's see what y'all are saying. And emus are dancing, Carly? See. Oh, they have long claws. The emu, yeah. I need an emu for my security. An emu in the front, an emu in the back. I could start an emu security team. Right? How much? I wonder how much emus cost. The price of an emu varies depending on age, color, and location, but generally ranges from $200 to $850 for chicks. And an adult emu is upwards of $1,000 or more. That's not expensive. That's like the price of a puppy. Emus can break bones. Stop buying giant birds on a whim, farmers warn. Like right now, when you find out you want one for your security team. So I'm reading The Guardian, and it says emus can break bones. Stop buying giant birds on a whim. Tammy Scholl, the owner of Moonlight Valley Farms in Aspers, Pennsylvania, makes a living selling emu chicks across the country. The flightless birds, native to Australia, cost about $200 for standard black and brown colors, while the rare white variety can cost up to $850. Emus are a big part of Scholl's life, but hear her plea. Please stop buying them because they're cute on social media. No, lady, I want them for my security. Dude, it'd be cool if you could have them follow you too, like little chicks, but like your security team. Maybe put them in a tuxedo or something. That'd be funny. Recent viral videos definitely created an awareness of emus and their antics. We're definitely finding many folks are getting emus on a whim. Like what? When? What? And not doing the proper research before obtaining. Well, I'm researching, but one large bird in particular, a 5'8" feathered boy named Emmanuel Todd Lopez, has become the face of TikTok's growing obsession with the animal. He lives with Taylor Blake, the owner of Florida's Knuckle Bumps Farm, and has had quite the year. First, his thirst for mayhem. Okay, he has 2.4 million. This emu has 2.4 million followers. Let's see. Emmanuel's greener pastures didn't soon. Old tweets surfaced, including ones using racist language. Oh. bird flu hit Knuckle Bump Farms, killing 99% of her farm's birds, including every single chicken and duck at Knuckle Bump. Okay, can we talk about the name Knuckle Bump? Why? Sounds gross. All the geese, 2 female black swans, and both turkeys. Emmanuel was spared, though. Blake shared photos of him looking gaunt and sick. She loved up on her prized bird and kissed him. Sounds mask. Good. Much to the concern of the followers. Okay, but why is she saying don't buy him? That doesn't make sense. She doesn't really give a reason. I think bird flu can kind of hit any farm. My videos don't show the ugliness of having one, like when one jumps the fence and I have to track it down in the woods, wrestle it to the ground, and take it back. I don't think I'd want to fight an emu. Most emus don't want to be touched on the head or cuddled. Aw, my emu will. My emu moo moo moo. Some are very docile and friendly, but not all are. Mine will be. It's going to make sure of it. Anyway, Carly sent me a video of an emu race happening. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Oh, and look at the cow is running. Is that a cow or is that a horse? Wait. Oh my gosh. They are so, let's JLR it. We'll go back. We're going to go back. We'll start over. I'm going to show you JLR status. Okay. Let's go up. So I don't know if you can see that without the reflection. Can you see that emu running and like the horse thing? He's so fast. He's so cute though. See, I could really have an emu for security. I wouldn't mind. My husband might. I wouldn't mind. Well, Mark, what's shaking, bacon? We're just hanging out, talking about nothing. We went over some books that I like. Some Chuck Norris jokes. This is really just chill. Nothing super informational. Just chilling with mustard. Thought I'd go live. I don't have the kids today for a few hours. So Elijah has the dentist tomorrow. His first dental appointment. That should be fun. Yeah. So just kind of hanging out. Thought I'd go live. See what you guys want to talk about. I was thinking about going over sleep on Thursday. Yeah. So the kids left at like 9. I took them over about 9. And I got back and I took a nap. I was I'm so trying to catch up on sleep with these kids being sick and up all night and then going to the gym super early in the morning, trying to stay on that. It's been crazy. So, and with the kids home, I'm cleaning constantly. Usually when they're off at school, I have a break of messes from them, but not right now. So we don't do summer camps. They're so expensive. I'd rather have them explore our backyard. So thanks, Mama. Appreciate it. So I was thinking about talking about sleep on Thursday or more hormones. I think we should go back to hormones. Maybe we'll go through some of this book, talk about stress, circadian rhythm, going with the flow, compounding energy, things you can do with your schedule, the foods you choose even. Yeah. I know, Mark, you had, what was your idea the other day that you wanted to talk about? Oh, the reverse hack squat. So I'll do a video on that this week. I didn't have a ton of time today to do video at the gym. So reverse hack squat will be when I do next. I just posted one today, this morning, on Smith machine calf raises. That one's good. But how to scare your clients away from beer. You don't need to be scared. Well, okay. So everyone is different. I think I say that about everything because it's so true. Everyone is different. But not everyone needs to not include alcohol in their regimen, like in their food, to see results. But you need to ask yourself first why you're drinking. Because if it's excessive, consistent, or I don't want to say not for the right reasons, because we all drink to relax, and you want to make sure you know how to relax without that. Some people, they just shouldn't have it at all because they can't control it, or they can't just go do it and plan for it. And then some people can. So I don't want to say I want to scare people away from it. I think what would be best would be to make you more knowledgeable as to what it does to your body, to your goals, and then equip you with more reasons. Because I think that in itself, I think you're asking me to, and I'll be honest, I think you're asking me to scare you away because deep down, you know it's not benefiting you. Now we're in therapy. But I'm going to put you on the spot a little because I think you know that it's not something that's you in particular are able to include in your life right now and get to where you want to be. Doesn't mean you can't ever, maybe, who knows? But I think at this point in your life, scaring you away from it would benefit you. But instead, I'd rather just equip you with the knowledge as to how it's maybe hurting you or not conducive to your goals, and equip others with the same so they can make that decision for themselves. Because again, I just had plum sake last night. And I wasn't even, it's not my off day. Like I still got up and trained this morning. And I wasn't planning on having anything to drink yesterday, but it was just, it's been a rough 3 weeks with these kids being sick. And see, this is, you know, you have to ask yourself, why are you drinking? And I just wanted to relax in a time because I'll be in prep in a few weeks for a show where I don't get to just relax with a kombucha or a glass of wine or some hot plum sake. And so for me, I was more using that last night as a way to take the edge off of kind of these last few days, especially because I'll be honest, there is a large part of me these last few days, I did not want to come on YouTube already. Yeah. So I just wanted to just chill. And for me, I won't be able to partake in that later, but I have that ability to shut it off. If you don't have the ability to shut off that need and that be able to not drink, then I think it is beneficial to be scared away from it. But yeah, like red. I love to cook with wine too. Sometimes you even put it in your food. And when you put it in your food, you burn the alcohol off, right? So it's not really like alcohol at that point. But I think you really need to ask yourself the reason why you're drinking. And then are you able to still achieve the things that you want? And if not, then let's assess how we can get rid of it. But like for me, Josh was the one serving me. I think he was hoping for a date night last night, but I went to bed at 7:15. I think I had like probably that much hot plum sake, which for me is a good amount. And I wasn't buzzed, but I was like chilled and relaxed, and I still went to bed on time and still got up and did my workout. But if I had gone overboard, or if I did this every single night and then wasn't still getting up in the morning to go work out, I would say no. Oh, sorry, Red, you got timed out. How does that happen? Let's see if I can undo it from here. I don't think I can. I'm sorry, Red. Mark. Okay, so Mark says, for me, as you know, it causes a total departure from a good trajectory. It does. And you don't work out for, and I'm going to call you out, you don't work out for days. Weeks at one point. You know, I'm okay with the higher calories, especially because you're building right now. Now, not that alcohol is conducive to building, but with higher calories, you're not looking to really burn fat. You know, you're offsetting that obviously with the gainer that you bought. So I need to give you those passwords, Carly. So I would say, yeah, being scared away from alcohol would benefit you a lot. But we could talk about that. And because like I said, there's things like I have a client right now that she likes to have her wine and beer and not talk to me about it and how I can help her stay on track, because there's things you want to do with your food too. When your body takes in alcohol, you stop burning fat. Your body's number one priority is getting that poison out of your body. So it's not going to do a bunch of other things that you're needing it to do or wanting it to do in building a physique and building a body that you like, because it's going to be focused on getting the poison out. So depending on how much you drink, the more you drink, the longer that's going to take. And then also, what's your metabolism like? You know, what's your body like? What's your activity level like? The next day, are you just laying around because you're hungover? What's your food intake like the next day? Especially, it's usually pretty crappy. From when I used to drink the next day, oh my gosh, my diet was horrific. So you're definitely not on your meals the next day. So you kind of get screwed for multiple days, even just with nutrition. And then the last thing you want to do is go work out, because you're probably throwing up. Usually greasy. Yep, totally greasy. And I love beer too. I like my Stella. I like Pacifico. I just had a Pacifico the other day. We went to this restaurant down the street, which is so good. And they have this chorizo burger. Oh my gosh. So yummy. So it's a chorizo burger. And then I get it with a 20-ounce Pacifico. And it's in this schooner that's ice cold. And it is delicious. The mixture, it's yum. Anyway, but if I was talking to a client and they were wanting to stay, like, because obviously with a burger like that and a beer like that, you're not gonna do well on the scale the next day. But if it was a client that was trying to stay on point and, like, let's say they really just wanted to enjoy a schooner that Friday, like that was going to be their reward, I'd be like, okay, let's, instead of having the chorizo burger, and I'm not saying do a salad, but let's take some of the carbs away because that's what's really going to sit in the gut. Take the cheese away, focus on protein. The glutamine is going to help the gut wall. It's going to help reduce inflammation, and then fats. Get fats in there because that's going to help keep inflammation low. It's going to help coat the gut wall, but it's also going to give you fuel so that you have energy, and it's not trying to pull energy from the protein where you're going to feel nauseous just from that anyway, called gluconeogenesis. I've said that a few times before. But you feel lightheaded and almost hot sometimes when that happens. So I know a burger without cheese, I love cheese. But if I'm saying, like, if you were a client of mine and you've been on point all week long and you really wanted to go out with friends on a Friday or a Saturday night and just enjoy a freaking nice, yummy, ice cold beer, but not have to then work it off for the next 10 days. What would I tell you to do? So we would adjust your carbs. And like I said, I would take the carbs out, not so much because, yes, like the calorie thing, but because the last thing your body's going to want to do is process those carbs through. And so it's going to sit in there. And what do you think that's going to feed? Good old firmicutes. And then it seeps past your gut wall and into your immune system. And that's why a lot of times when I drink and I eat bad, especially, the next day I will have this insane histamatic response because it's like an allergic reaction almost, but your body is just trying to get rid of all of that. Bar food is the worst. Sometimes it's the best, especially like the bar pretzels. I used to go to this bar when I was younger, and I love just dive bars. That's my jam. I'm not into clubs. I'm not into, like, in fact, when I go to Vegas with my girlfriends for my birthday this year, they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't want to go to a club. I want to go to Vegas. I don't want to go dancing. That is not me. I want to gamble. And if anything, it's like a dive bar, but I don't know. I just want to, I just want to chill. That's so me. But anyway, it's kind of like this dive bar here, and they have pool tables and dart boards and just all like the shuffle game. It's super dark and just dingy kind of. But they have a popcorn machine that is free, and then free chips and nuts on the counter. So you don't see that nowadays anymore, especially after COVID. But that's like what I think of as like bar food too. Is, those things that I know. Firmicutes. You gotta love firmicutes. They don't make you firm. But they love sugar, they love carbs, and when you drink, it is like a free-for-all for them. So my stomach is growling. Lots of sugar in some wines, and it turns into sugar too. So that's why I like the kombucha from Flying Embers, is so it's sugar-free. So not that that takes the calories away from it or anything, but it takes one of those elements away that the body has to process when you are drinking, because you don't want to not eat. When you don't eat, you get the hangover. So the protein, the reason why that helps is the glutamine is coating, like I said, that gut wall, but it protein actually upregulates the second phase of liver detoxification. So when a lot of people are like doing a detox and they're using veggies and stuff like that, that upregulates the first phase of detoxification, but protein is what actually upregulates the second phase that you need. And so especially when you're drinking, not only does it help your gut wall, but it helps that second phase of detoxification. And so you don't want to not eat, because even though food's going to be slower to digest as you've got this poison in you, it's also going to be good to have that protein kind of sit in the gut in a way. So you want protein, you want good fat, so like not cheese, because that's going to inflame your gut wall. So think, let's say, I mean, In-N-Out, right? You probably didn't think I was going to spit this out. But if I were to go out drinking, In-N-Out is a great option because it's 100% beef. It's not made with fillers. So I would get like not a 3x3, but I would get 3 patties or 2 patties, depending on how much protein I need. No cheese. Get just mustard, right? Because the ketchup is a lot of sugar. Now, if you wanted to squirt a little ketchup on there, not the end of the world. Just know that you're adding sugar on there then at that point, right? So, but the mustard is really good, especially for digestion. And then wrap it with a lettuce wrap, right? And then skip the fries. Do a diet soda if you really have to, even though that's not the best for you. But that's a way that you could go eat out and still enjoy it. And plus it's got good fats in the burger, because that's a fatty meat that they're definitely not giving you like a lean patty, right? So that's got a good amount of fat in it. But beef has naturally occurring CLA. So that's going to be, really beneficial for digestion. And then if you can, take some whole omegas with it. If you happen to have your vitamins with you or nearby, take that so that your ratios of omega-3 to omega-6 are correct. We should go over that in a video too, as to why you want to make sure your CLA and so your 3, 6, and 9 are all in ratio, and why that's beneficial. Fat accuse, firmacutes. But yeah, so I would go to In-N-Out. And then if it's one of my males that maybe can have more food or more carbs, or like, let's say their digestion's really good, their progress is really good, I might go ahead and let them have the bun. It is processed, and it is going to kind of create some inflammation, some cortisol, issues, not issues, but spike cortisol with the carbs. But you could really get away with a bun, because that's only 15 grams, as opposed to, like, let's say you went out and had pizza somewhere, or what else do we kind of eat when we're not, like, let's say we had really bad Chinese food. That's a lot of fat, a lot of carbs, a lot of inflammation, or like the cheese on pizza, and no protein, right? It's all carbs, and inflammatory fats. So that's why I'm saying usually a burger, because you're drinking, you're probably out late, restaurants are probably closed, you need fast food. Let's say you don't have an In-N-Out, although they're moving to Tennessee. Did anyone see that? They're moving to Tennessee. They're leaving California. I'm gonna have to get off here because my kids come home soon. But, yeah, they're leaving Cali. I don't blame them. But so if you don't have an In-N-Out or something like it, my next bet around here is usually like a Carl's Jr. Again, it's going to be a super fatty patty, but a lot of the other restaurants, it's not going to be 100% beef. One way you can look is, I believe in California, they have to post the nutritional value and the ingredients, at least online. So check online maybe before you go what it's made of. But Carl's Jr. is another one that we will often go to in a pickle. And we make sure, like I said, your protein portion is good. So usually 2 patties or more. And then depending on your goals or your digestion or what you're wanting at the end of it all, if you have a bun or not. And then almost always skip the fries because that's just BS. Unless you know you're not trying. Right? And don't get a shake because that's really bad. But as far as alcohol goes, though, is there a difference between something like beer or hard liquor or kombucha or like my hot plum sake that I had the other night? Yes and no, but we should go over that too, as like the benefits, the pros and cons. Maybe I'll list them out. Obviously, calories is a big thing, but then there's benefits to things like red wine versus beer, kombucha versus red wine and beer. And then sugar content is also a big factor. Quantity, so usually things like tequila, you're not going to be gulping in large quantities as maybe you would a beer, which is more filling usually, but then also not as high of alcohol content, so you're going to drink more to get drunker. We can go over, yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Red. Yeah, I thought today would be kind of fun just to chill. Oh, low battery. And my phone's gonna die soon. And my kids will be home soon. This is one of my favorite shirts. You guys will see these at the gym if you want to get one. It's obviously way past Valentine's Day, but this is in memory of our Eddie. So Eddie was one of my clients, but also a good friend, and he passed away a few years ago. December 12th, I believe, was the exact day. Actually, it's on here. Yeah, December 12th, 2021. Josh and I were actually I was trying to turn pro, and we were in Arizona when we found out he passed away. But he was a good friend, a client of mine. Yeah, and so we made these shirts. Be my spotter for him in his memory. One of my favorites. So thought I'd wear that today. Regardless of my hiccups, I posted my first day progress photo versus You did, Mark? I haven't seen it yet. Can I share it? Can I? I can't wait till we're at the end of your building, though. So that'll be really cool because that's a big shift. If you've seen, I posted on my Instagram Xavier's recent transformation, where he came from, and that was in less than a year. And Mark, you have the capacity, sorry, Xavier, but to really surpass that if you just dialed in and focused. You really have that, like you really could. So it's just a matter of staying focused for you, because when you lock in, I've seen it, you can really progress quickly. Your body is very responsive. So you just have to stay consistent and not fall off, especially for weeks at a time. Good, you're in. Oh, I'm sorry, and you got timed out for 30 seconds. No, it's good. And Josh told me that you are already looking forward to past November, which, because we're going to need at least until November to build. But if we have any more hiccups, it'll take longer, right? So at least November to build. And then after that, let's unwrap the present. Let's see what you've created. So, but careful with the mass gainer, because we do not want to build the wrong weight. Like, yes, I want to see that scale go up, but not because of fat, because then when we have to go burn that off, we risk burning muscle too. I mean, I can keep amino acid levels in the blood high enough to help protect muscle fiber, but you still risk it no matter what. You can't 110% completely prevent it. So the more I can keep cardio minimal and food high, and get you lean to shred down afterwards, the better. But if we're too high in body fat percentage, you risk more and more of that muscle loss as we go to do that. So try to stay within those macros that I gave you and let me slowly increase those as we go. Use the mass gainer to get food in, but try not to go over the food, because you will pack on pounds we don't want. And I'm slowly going to increase your food. Just, you got to stay consistent with the training and the food. And I'm okay if you fill it even with a little bit of crap in a way, because you kind of want some of that inflammatory response when you're building muscle. And again, you're okay having a little bit of fluff. So it's going to create some of that water retention. Oh, Pineapple, if she's watching, she might still hate me. But it's 1 for water retention. It's 1 water molecule per 2 it's 1 carb molecule. So like 1 glucose molecule will hold 2 hydrogen molecules. So it's not grams, it's molecules, and it's glucose, not carbs, which is similar but different. But I told you I would look that up and find out the exact thing for water retention. But yeah. No, I know the gainer's clean. It's just you don't need to go over in carbs than what we have set. So your ratio from carbs to protein and fat is very specific for what we're trying to do, plus your biofeedback. So for some people, like for Josh, he can handle extremely high amounts of carbs versus a much okay, so his ratio of carbs to fat and protein is much higher than what most people can handle because we've built that metabolic capacity slowly over time without the body wanting to put on extra pounds. Versus if someone else just tried to grab his macros and try that, they would put on an excessive amount of weight because their body hasn't adapted to learning how to burn those off and utilize those. Plus, he's also created an environment with his muscles that's burning a lot more than like a standard person. So you got to think of that too. So even if you guys might have the same weight in pounds, let's say, not that you do, but like let's say you did, it wouldn't even be based off of that. So like some people be like, well, I weigh 200 pounds, so this is how many calories I should have. And it's, you want to look at body fat percentage and then what the person has been used to eating too. So that history of food intake and what the body is acclimated to. So when I get a new client, if they haven't been eating anything, or like let's say they've been eating a ton. Okay, here's a great example. So let's say I've got client A and client B, and client A hasn't been eating anything, and then client B has been binge eating everything. And let's say they both are really fat or something and want to burn a ton of weight. I'm not going to start them off both on the same, like let's say they even weigh the same. I'm not going to start them off on the same food because of what their body's used to. So like binge body, I'm going to start binge body on a higher food intake because even just a little bit less than what they're used to is going to be big for their body. Excuse me. And then client A, if I start them off too high, their body's not going to know what to do with it. So I have to start off a lot lower and almost slowly build as they burn. So it might even seem like two completely different meal plans for someone that's, for two people that are the same weight and size and even the same goal. So is Mr. Mustard is in the house. Yeah, so, okay, Mr. Mustard, how many times have I had to talk you through food to build that metabolic capacity? There's been so many times that I have had to cheer him on and tell him to finish his meal, like a mom, because it's a lot of food and he's not hungry, but he needed to do that to build that metabolic capacity. And then a benefit of that too is then, like I said, to get leaner. If he's used to eating, like even like binge body, if he's used to eating a ton, just a small reduction is going to make the body drop fat instantly. So yeah. That's a benefit to that. So when he goes to get lean for this show, he's doing it. Mr. Mustard's doing a show in September. When he goes to get lean for this show, the amount of food that he'll be able to get lean on is going to be way higher than most people. And you can ask his coach, because we hire coaches for ourselves because we can't coach ourselves. So I can't have Mr. Mustard coach me because he's in my life, and I can be like, babe, it was really hard last night. Like week's been crazy. Can I just have extra food? And because he can see me every day, he can kind of tweak things, but I don't like that. I want to be held accountable. So I have my own coach. He has his own coach, and, his coach has him eating a lot of food, and I've had to tell him, like, sit through and talk him through it and have him eat it. And anyway, you'll see when he goes to do his show. Sorry, guys. When he goes to do his show in September, he'll be getting a lot leaner on way more food than most guys. Like there's one guy, Larry, that's on his team with him that is eating like 0 carbs to go do his show. And Mr. Mustard's eating like 200 grams of carbs, and they're like the same body fat percentage. So it was crazy. Yeah. But that goes to show it's not about how lean you are or how big you are necessarily. It's a mixture of so much stuff. So, like the other day, Carly and Natalie, I know, like there's a list of foods, but the amounts is so different for people. So, and you have to look, like I said, at goals, current eating habits, and then past eating habits too. So it's like a full intake that we do when we have new clients come in, is really try to assess all those different things and then monitoring closely thereafter. Because not that it's you're not sure how the body is going to necessarily respond all the time. Sometimes it just wants to hang on to everything at first because it's like, yes, food, water, stuff, give it, keep it, and then it releases it. And then there's other bodies that people will just start shedding right away. It's like, perfect, this is exactly what I needed, all these nutrients to just let these toxins go, this inflammation, this is amazing. So it's so funny to see just how different bodies are, and same age ranges, same, they can be best friends even with very similar lifestyles, and their bodies will respond very differently, or even, they might even be related and just respond very differently. So every person is super, super unique. The food list that we have, I think I've said before, it's not magic. It's just a way that I can generally control someone's microbiome without having a gazillion different foods that people are going to eat from. And then too, when I give these foods, so like Wilson knows, when I gave her meal plan, it's specific amounts next to it so that you don't have to think. Because one of the hardest things I know is going, okay, well, how much do I need if that's what I want? And so like with the list and the number of meals I'm having that client do, all they have to do is like look at it and go, okay, I get 1 carb, 1 protein, and 1 fat. For most people, some people, they don't get all three, but 1 carb, 1 protein, 1 fat, and this is how much, and I just weigh that out. And so it's super easy. You don't have to just think at all. And then, like I said, that way I can control kind of what is happening in the body. Because too, like you can take foods, and depending even just on how you cook them, the body is going to absorb it differently, digest it differently. It's going to have a different response in the body. So just the different ways that you can eat the foods on the list creates enough variability, let alone different foods all over the place. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cough again. I haven't gotten sick yet. I've been keeping on my vitamins, so hard to believe Xavier is surpassable, but I'll believe you. No, like Xavier is still pushing. So he's still building. He is all the way on the other side of the world right now. Oh, my battery is going even lower. And he's still doing really well. Last check-in, let's see, we've been able to increase food 3 times in the past 10 days. Let's see. Xavier. So we increased his food today. We increased his food on the 9th. I increased his food on the 7th. I increased his food on the 3rd. So you know, it just depends on the body's biofeedback, but he's slowly building. And right now he's at 200 grams of carbs and 80 grams of fat and 220 grams of protein. But he'll go much higher than that for sure. This is just the beginning. He has till December to finish building. And then, well, yes. And then we start cutting. So for his next show, which will be next year. And then he'll go pro. Anything else? Well, shall we get off then? No more chilling with mustard today? I have cardio to go do. I have 30 minutes of cardio to do before the kids get here in about 30 minutes. So they'll probably pull up when I'm doing my cardio, unless Mr. Mustard gets back in time. And then he'll play dad until I'm done. You know who I have? Oh, there's Wilson. I was going to say, I haven't seen Wilson in here. You're glad I'm not viral yet? You know, honestly, I'm just hoping to hit 50 so I can go live on my phone. But ask away. The questions help. Because then I know what you want to know. I feel like I vomit a lot of stuff. So it helps let me know what you want to know. Can I do your cardio too? Oh, he wants me to do his cardio because he doesn't want to do his cardio. Gotcha. He has a show though. See, I could semi-skip it because I'm in off season. All right, guys. I think it's time I go do my cardio. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow with children. I don't know. You can see the mom side of me with kids. I don't know. Is that a good idea? Should I do kids on here? I don't know. But maybe we'll do something like that, or like making food with the kids or something. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. That might be hard, but I will see you all later this week for sure. Okay, bye.